The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Yeah. NY born, NY built.
What is up, yo?
Vanilla
Happy
Gorilla,
Sunday,
Big Dog,
another Sunday
Untouchables.
with
Let's
your
go.
favorite
Step in the
hostess
ring like kings
with
of the block.
mostest.
Gorilla grip, Big Dog, never stop. Iron in the veins, no gimmicks, no props. This is hard work, black top and body slops. Ain't no flash, just fist and fake. We run through ropes like we run through
It
gates.
can't be. This is crazy. And if nobody at home knows who this guy is, this is the Big Dog, man. He did get a tip from the Brooklyn Prodigies earlier on that they had travel issues, but not due to them being scared or anything like that. But oh my gosh, the Vanilla Gorilla and the Big Dog and the Untouchables just inserted themselves into this tag team.
Elbows harder than a steel trash can. One shot, knock them flat on sight. Two beats bred for the spotlight fight. They can talk tough, bark loud all night, but in the ring, we bite and we bite right. We are untouchables, NY bred. Two fists swinging, leave legends dead. Joey bring the rage, Dave bring the brain. Together we storm like a runaway train. Untouchable, New York style. We don't tap, we make them snap.
What is up? What is up, yo? It's Turnbuckles and Stogies. I am the Big Dog. This is the Vanilla Gorilla, and we got the OG. What is going on? Happy Sunday, happy fun day.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whenever you see this.
So, what is going on, boys?
We're here to sit down with a cigar company today that sent us some nice little goodies.
Yes, they did. Shout out to them. They reached out to us. We didn't reach out to them. So
They reached out to us, but we were able to get it done, get it rolling. So let me cut this real
you all
quick.
right, Dennis?
What's going on, brother?
What up?
What's going on? You tell me. You seem pissed off at the world tonight.
I haven't said nothing.
All right, I'm gonna let that slide. I'm gonna let that slide there, brother.
What did I do?
Because I love you, dog. But no.
There we go.
Let's bring up our guest of the week.
So that's the lighter they sent us, Revere Cigar Company. The backside says the flame of liberty must be kept alive. So you're smoking the Midnight Run,
Which is the big one.
the Maduro,
Yes.
and then I'm going to be smoking the One Lamp, which is the Connecticut, and then there's two lamps with
And
the
whatever
Habano.
Dennis, listen, whatever the OG is smoking, he's smoking because they sent us the cigars. Dennis, I will send you your cigars. Just send me your address, please. Thank you very much.
But I'm gonna go ahead and light this up.
So let's bring up our guest of the week.
Let's start with, is this value or is this a bluff?
Right, whoa.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Guys, we have the guest of the week. I'm going to say he is the CEO and founder of Revere Cigars.
Let's make it bigger screen so you guys can see everybody.
Am I correct, sir? You are the CEO and founder of Revere Cigars.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet y'all.
Nice to meet you.
What is this doing?
We appreciate you reaching out to us.
Yes.
I mean, Joey told me you reached out to us, so shout out to him.
I'm playing with some
what made
layouts.
you-
Don't mind me.
What made you reach out to our podcast?
I'd seen you guys pop up quite often on my Instagram, so I'd watched a few of them and was like, "Hey, this is good content. Maybe they'd be willing to have me on."
And I'm glad you wanted to come on. We appreciate it.
And I'm glad
Yeah,
you're
very
enjoying
welcome.
our stuff. We're trying to put great content out there all the time
Yes.
for everybody.
Yes, we are.
And it's good that we know that we're popping up in people's feeds.
Correct.
That's good to know
Yeah.
that this is popping up for people to see.
Correct.
The algorithm's working for you.
Correct. So we need to, because I did a little bit of research while I was sitting here in the last 10 minutes. Tell us a little bit about where your company's from, how you got started, and what did you do before you got into cigars?
Yeah, so Revere Cigars was born out of frustration with the federal government and with state governments, to be exact. So seeing some of the legislation they're trying to push, what they're trying to push in Massachusetts, now what they're trying to push in New York State, we see it coming to across the pond a little bit. UK passed it. Ireland's looking to pass it. So that's kind of where Revere came from. I was looking to start a boutique company, and when I read about the law Massachusetts was trying to pass with a generational tobacco ban, I got really pissed off about it, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, Paul Revere didn't ride the midnight ride for this shit to go down in America.
Correct.
And Revere Cigars was born.
Nice.
So part of the mission is not only to make a great cigar and educate maybe not the avid cigar smokers of what's happening with our rights in the States, but also to take a portion of our profits and funnel those to the PCA and the CRA so they can keep fighting the idiots in the government so we can keep enjoying our adult hobby.
These beautiful things right here that we're all
Correct.
smoking on.
I know OG's got something to say because I can see it in his face.
I'm just excited to hear about this new company, and we heard a little bit about the background. I don't have those cigars in front of me, so just tell me about the blends they're smoking and what other blend you folks have there. And
yeah, so the one lamp is a Connecticut wrapper with a Criollo binder, 100% Nicaraguan filler. And then the two lamps is an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper with a Corojo binder and 100% Nicaraguan filler. And then the Midnight Ride, which is what I'm enjoying this evening, is a San Andreas Maduro with an Ecuadorian Habano binder.
Now,
and 100% Nicaraguan filler.
The Connecticut, I'm only through the very first little inch, and I know they say normally you got to wait to get past that, but I can already tell that this is a Connecticut that even a full body smoker can smoke because it's got that bite from that Nicaraguan tobacco. It's got that pepper.
Yep.
It's got that nice coffee notes. The slight on the retrohale, you get like a slight hint of chocolate, but very, very faint. Like that's what you're looking for in a Connecticut cigar. That way, not only can a beginner smoke it, or a novice, or somebody who doesn't smoke all the time, but seasoned cigar smokers like ourselves can pick this up out of a humidor and enjoy it.
Correct. And that was the idea behind that blend. Because I enjoy an occasional Connecticut, but I find them to be too weak on the flavor profiles a lot of times. So we wanted to do a blend that had that full flavor, but not full nicotine. So nicotine content scales up from the one lamp to the Midnight Ride. So on the Midnight Ride, the idea behind it was by the time you're done smoking the cigar, the nicotine hit should be good enough that you feel like you're on an adrenaline-fueled ride running away from the British.
Which means you do that and then you go to sleep right afterwards.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what that means. It relaxes you enough to put you like you're on that ride and put you to sleep.
Well, some of us do, right, OG?
Some of us.
I've had full body cigars that people say knock them out, and I'll sit here and smoke, and they're like, "So how do you feel?" I'm like, "Nothing."
Yeah, it really depends on your tolerance, right?
Yeah, and then I've had some where I've smoked it, and I'll sit here and go, "All right, I'm ready to go to sleep now."
Yeah.
OG, what are you smoking right now?
I am smoking the Road King King by our friend Laura.
Yes.
I gotta get some of those.
Which don't
It
worry,
is
everybody, for the people
it is
watching.
a full-bodied.
Not to cut you off, OG, because I know you're gonna ask about it too. I know we're talking about Revere and their company, but being we're on Road King real quick, our cigar samples are coming. We're having issues with the bands being printed. They're not printing properly.
I know that story.
We're working on a different band to print the right way. So don't worry, the samples are coming for us to test the blends, I promise.
So let's get back to
But let's get back to you guys and your Brandon. Now, so I know you had said to me that you're made out of the same factory that produces El Mago, the Playboy cigar, which is now a Kingmaker cigar line.
yes.
And Grouchy Monkey, which Hyman is actually a very good friend of the show. We
Hyman's a great
interviewed
dude.
him over the winter in like February. I actually just aired his interview this morning at about 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
You guys,
I hadn't
we're
caught it yet.
recording this Friday night at 7. I dropped him Friday morning at 8. So you guys have a few different things to watch for this weekend. But yeah, he's a great dude. He told us a little bit about the factory. He did tell us that they make a lot of different brands.
They do.
And you know, when you had told me that you were made out of the same factory as the Playboy and the Grouchy Monkey, I kind of already knew going in that these were going to be good cigars because of, you know, what I've had out of that factory. Now, I haven't smoked El Mago, but I have smoked Playboy because Kingmakers had actually reached out to me and sent me a 5-pack of cigars.
Oh, very nice.
When I was posting some of their stuff up. And my dad had smoked the original Playboy cigars when they originally came out, 07 I think it was, or 08, something like that.
When I used to go lounge hopping.
When JRs used to have them up top. So to hear that you're made in the same factory as those, you know, those names are names that people know. El Mago's becoming a household name now.
Yeah.
Grouchy Monkey's getting the notoriety that he so well deserves.
Agreed.
Because again, if you haven't had those cigars, everybody watching, go get them. Pick up Revere Cigars because like I said, I'm enjoying this Connecticut. You know, and
But it's funny. I got hooked up with MG due to Hyman.
So you know how.
So yeah. He and I were talking the other day actually, but yeah, I reached out to him because I was hitting a dead end finding a good factory to produce my cigars.
Right.
And I just said, hey, all transparency, I'm looking to start a boutique, do my own blends. Who are you using? And he and I had a few phone conversations, and then he introduced me to Miguel, and then I started working with MG.
It's nice when you have people like that who are willing to, you know, help other smaller boutique brands like you get a startup. Guys like us who we had dealt with a broker to begin with. You know, kind of a similar story to a lot of the boutiques that we've talked to.
You get fucked when you fuck with a broker.
We met with a broker. He was like, oh, you know, we can do like a kind of on consignment thing. Like, you know, if you order, however many get sold is however many cigars get brought in.
Yeah.
And, you know, the factory that we were going to work with through him was the Pichardo factory. Which was a fantastic factory that makes a lot of crown head stuff. So I knew I was in good hands. I wasn't worried. Then came time for price point, and when we released the price point to everybody, they're like, what the fuck are you guys doing? I'm like, I have no control. Unfortunately, you know, I would love to have my control. I said if it was up to me, it would be $55 for a 5-pack.
Yep.
Shipped to you and out the door.
Exactly.
But the way we were doing it, dealing with a broker, obviously, you know, as a brand owner, dealing with brokers, whether it's to get into a lounge or something like that, you know that the price kind of goes up.
Does.
So when a 5-pack could be $55, a 4-pack was like $115 shipped. And
wow.
That wasn't our price. Yeah, that wasn't our pricing.
I told him bring it down.
And I can't tell you how many hours on the phone trying to argue the price point of, bro, that's too high.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna buy. And
Exactly.
then it was, well, I'll back you. And so I posted it in the group. He was supposed to back me. I don't know if he ever did, whatever. I get it. Things happen. But I was like, maybe down the line we can do something, where I can buy cigars from you or through their factory and have them shipped to me, banded, whatever. But, it's like you don't realize until you start dealing with these kind of things, the trials and tribulations you can go through as somebody trying to do a one-off just to see if it would take off the right way.
Yep.
Or, somebody starting a brand. And like you said, when you have guys like Hyman and, some of the other guys that we have as friends like Ish and quite a few other people who own their own brands and work with factories that are willing to make that connection, then you start to realize, wow, I was getting screwed or I wasn't with the right factory like you are now.
Right.
Exactly.
So, Dennis, ask my man the question you asked all brand owners. I'm going to give it to you.
Well, I usually do that, to wind down the show.
He'll do that towards the end of the show. I know what he's saying.
Okay.
He's got one question he asked everybody. And as we wind down, we kind of turn the show over to him so that he can ask his question.
Sure.
But I will
I'm in the fishbowl. I'm just back here.
No, so
I contribute every now and then.
The pins you sent, the lighter, I actually really like the design on the lighter and, kind of your, I guess, company motto, which is one flame, one revolution. And then I like what you guys did for the back of this as well.
So listen, Nate, I'm going to ask you because I'm the CEO of Turnbuckles and Stogies. Can you send Dennis a 5-pack of what you sent us?
Sure. Yeah, just give me his address at the end of this.
Dennis, there you go. Now you got your cigars. Mother freaker.
I didn't say nothing.
I'm not saying nothing. Listen. Time out.
I didn't say nothing.
Coach. Time out, Coach. Because we always tell them there's 3 of us, and they ask for our address.
Now, I have told people, I will say, I have told other people that there's another person who lives an hour from me that's part of the show. And I've sent them, here's his address, and somehow I have no idea why. I've always wound up with everything, and I'm like, because I don't get to see him all the time. So there's times where we'll see him and times we won't, and I tell them, here's his address, or, he's going to hit you up, and then I go, you got anything? He goes, no, they didn't send nothing. I'm like, and then I get the box, and instead of getting a box like this, I get a box that's twice the size of this, and I'm like, I have everything right here. So it still winds up at my house. But these pins, I will say, what made you kind of do the Glencairn glasses and the pins and the lighter? What made you kind of do that? Because a lot of people don't do that in the very beginning.
I'm a swag whore, totally. So I love good merch. I wear Boston Scally caps constantly. So I like good hat pins. I'm a whiskey guy, and I collect Glencairns at every distillery I go to. So I was like, what should I be branding that I collect? So that's kind of how it became a thing. And I don't see a lot of companies doing the. Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of people do not do what you just said. What can I collect? If I'm a cigar smoker and I go to different lounges, and Dennis will tell you this because he's been with us. I go to lounges and they got glasses. I'm like, Dennis, put this over there. He's like, well, I said, shut up and just move it. He'll move it, and I'll put one glass on the front and keep the other 2 glasses. Bro, we walk out of lounges with glasses, cigars. I mean, you name it. Me and Dennis, hell, the lounge that closed up. Shout out to, who was it, Dennis?
Park Lane.
Park Lane. Then you had the place next door.
No, it was Park Lane that we walked out with like fucking 90 cigars that day.
Oh
wow.
Please. That was listen.
That was a different scenario.
You started out like us as guys that went to lounges. And OG will tell you we were there that night.
Let Dennis tell.
And I'm gonna turn it over to you, OG, because this was hilarious.
So I won't get into the brand because number one, that the salesman isn't with the company anymore, and I don't want that brand still to be reflective of it. So I'll leave the brand name out of it.
Right.
Let's just say there was a former salesman who didn't sell. He would just come in. His attitude was basically grumpy, is the best way to put it. He didn't sell and he didn't talk to anybody.
Wow.
So, and this was a major event. This is an event that the lounge had twice a year. And every time he comes in, he sits down, he puts on a baseball game and watches the baseball game while the house staff have to sell his cigars for him. Anyway, long story short is this guy's not talking to anybody. He's not saying boo to nobody. My man up here, Dave, he starts striking up a conversation with the guy. This guy starts dropping name bombs, and every time he drops a name, Dave holds up his phone with the contact of that person he's referencing. Without exaggeration, one name after another, Dave just kept holding up his phone. You mean this guy? You mean this guy? You mean this guy?
Because the guy didn't think that we knew those people.
Go ahead, finish.
So he, anyway, long story short is Dave ended up selling for the guy. What are you looking for? Come on in here. Come on in here. You want this cigar? You want that cigar? You want that cigar? Here. You know what? You bought 3, you get 3 free. And he would give 3 away.
Oh, wow.
And he kept doing that. So the guy walked in with probably 20 bundles of cigars to sell. He only sold maybe a bundle and a half, and Dave gave the rest away to customers for their purchases.
And then we left with like half a bundle apiece. Because that brand, that company had multiple different brands under the umbrella.
Sure.
And you're in a cigar lounge. You left them on the counter, opened, unattended. And the staff knew, and
she was like,
they loved us there, thankfully.
Like, do what you got to do, Dave. I got you.
They were like, yeah, it's there. I mean, their answer literally was, it's there. He's right there. So I walked up and I'm like, wow, those look good. They go, yeah, they do. Right here you go. I was like, oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's awesome.
But, you know, I don't do that to everybody, but this guy was such a dick. And I say dick because if I'm sitting there and you're a sales guy and I say, hey, bro, this guy wants to give you a cigar. Okay, and I'm like, yo, Joe Schmuckatelli, this guy wants to give you a cigar. Okay, give it to him. All right, 1 for you, 1, 2, 3 for me. Fuck it. So for every 1 I sold, I kept 3.
That was your commission.
Exactly, it's commission. And
commission.
You know, we were there as a podcast to cover the event because they invited us out there. So payment.
Shout out to Park Lane, they ain't open no more.
So let's hold that thought. Let's take a quick break and then come back with some more questions because I got a couple.
Sure.
I'm sure you do.
I do. Whoa, hello.
What the hell just happened?
I don't know.
What the hell?
It's okay.
Signed up to fight for freedom. What a price you had to pay. Picture in a helmet, missing family every day. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane. Some scars we'll never see. She will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter. She's a sister and a friend. Standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. On that old dusty base, with the meadows that shine. She's been to hell and back for the stars and the stripes. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane, and some scars we'll never see, and she will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend, standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve, 'cause you can't spell hero without her. Yeah, yes. For the ones that didn't make it, we will pause and then we cry. We can still see their smile in every sunrise. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend, standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve, 'cause you can't spell hero without her. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her.
What is up? What is up? We are back. I am the big dog. This is the Vanilla Gorilla. We got the OG and we got the CEO and founder of Revere Cigars.
Also, remember, guys, go to 4johnsapparel.com and get your exclusive turnbuckles and stogies designed merchandise specifically for them. You got the LJN inspired action figure design. You have our new logo up in the top right corner of your screen. And you have the logo that they designed for us. I got some hats going up. I'm still doing a test run with some of the designs. I'm testing them out, seeing how they work, etched in or printed. So give me some time. There's more stuff going up. But go to their website, get our stuff, get Smoking Sounds podcast, and get all of their stuff as well. Those guys are great. And we got big people sizes as well. I made sure we did that for the viewing audience at home. Because I'm a bigger guy, so I got to make sure I take care of my big dudes. I make sure everybody's got enough.
Look at this.
Enough stuff to get to wear. No, because seriously, think about it though. You go to a lot of these websites to order cigar brand stuff, and or merchandise from a podcast, and they only go up to like a 2 or a 3X.
We need something.
Think
for
about
5-6X's.
You got to make sure you're cutting out some people, which it sucks, but sometimes it happens that way. Certain things only come in certain sizes, but your t-shirts are going to come up to a 5X on the store. And the new logo will be up there, this one. I have a new updated logo. Don't worry, you guys will see that soon. So,
yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I got to meet Nick, who owns El Mago, when I was meeting Miguel my first time. And he said, hey, when you do t-shirts, make sure you go very, very large.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a lot of big dudes out there who love cigars, and you don't want to alienate them. And I was like, I would have never thought of that, but thanks for the tip, man.
No, but it's
we'll never have you on again.
No, but it's true because you get a lot of guys like me or like my dad. Even sometimes guys go bigger because they're tall.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get some of the guys like us, and it's like we want a shirt, but it's like, oh, you only have up to a 2X, and it's like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Yep.
They're like, oh, well, we have hats. I'm like, I'll take a hat. I mean, I wear hats. I'm like, but sometimes I would like to wear, a shirt that has the logo on it.
Agreed.
And it's like, I can't do that if, there's not people out there like Nick who is saying, hey, listen, if you're going to do it right and go as big as you possibly can.
Shout out to
Correct.
Nick and 4 brothers.
No, that's
2 brothers.
No, Nick is El Mago.
Oh, El Mago.
But
bro, I got so many people on this podcast, I forget who.
We haven't had El Mago yet. I've tried. But it's true because, it's like you said, it goes back to the collecting of stuff.
Exactly right.
Swag-wise, T-shirts, lighters, cutters, hats, pins, glasses, stickers, and it's like when you start doing that, now you're, some guys may not, and not saying that it'll happen, but some guys may not smoke your brand because it's like, well, if I can't wear their T-shirts, then why am I going to try their stuff? Because I can't represent and smoke it at the same time, which a lot of people do.
Yep.
They'll wear the T-shirt or the brand and be like, oh, I'm smoking this, and here's their T-shirt. Go get it at an event or here or there.
I'm gonna ask you this question: how do I get the shirt that you have on?
Oh man, these are only are for like founders and backers, but I'm sure I can swing you one.
My man, I take it 3X.
This is a nice shirt. This is it's a linen cotton blend.
Yep. Okay.
The shirt was not expensive. What was expensive was this embroidery right here.
I believe that.
That cost like $100.
Jesus.
Jeez.
But that's
it's got
because
90.
It's the whole logo.
Yeah, it's got 96,000 stitches. And then on the sleeve here, I've got the same. It's the whole quote that's on that lighter I sent you.
Yep.
I didn't even see that. Wow.
Yeah. So the entire quote is, "The flame of liberty must be kept alive by brave hearts," and that was a Paul Revere quote.
So how? I'm gonna get into the history now.
Sure.
So, I wrestled in New Hampshire. I wrestled in Revere. I wrestled all over New Hampshire. I wrestled all over Massachusetts. How? Jeez, how am I gonna word this? How did you guys even think of doing anything with Paul Revere without the okay of whoever runs his company?
So since he's a historical figure, it's open to anyone, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I did know because I read into something like that because somebody else, I forget who it was, did some sort of historic name, and I was just curious on how you do it. But like you said, it's almost like a public domain.
It is public domain now, the same way like they did the Mark Twain cigar. I think SDG did that, so it's same thing there. I mean, we're not claiming to be lineage or direct descendants because I'm not. But
no, that's why I'm asking, because I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of questions in when we post it up. How did they get this? How did they do this? How did that happen? Who were they related to? So that's why I'm asking that question.
My grandparents showed up Ellis Island early 1900s from Sweden and Sicily. So on my mom's side, I have no clue about my dad's side. He was adopted, but so no relation to Paul Revere that I'm aware of. Now, what's funny is the gentleman that built my website, his great grandfather swapped horses for Revere during the Midnight Ride.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. So when I approached him with this project and, hey, I need a website, he totally nerded out over the history side of it because he had family directly involved with that Midnight Ride. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then so if you went to the website, you might have seen it. We sold out quick. I think we did the most unique 250th anniversary cigar this year, in my opinion. And we're going to release this as a standard Toro, but it won't be the Declaration. So we're doing a Declaration series every year. It'll be a different blend, but same packaging. So this year we kicked it off. This is the Declaration cigar. We wrapped it in the Declaration of Independence.
Very cool.
It's a 6x56. And then we grabbed We the People from the Constitution just to fill up the back.
Okay.
This is a 6x56
cool.
Habano Rosado with a San Andreas binder. It's a Nicaraguan filler with some Dominican. It's probably my favorite cigar right now.
So how does one get those?
Well, this is probably the last one I've got. I would have sent you some, but I'm like, I'm out.
No, I'm saying, how does one order those?
They're sold out right now. I do have a few boxes that have not been claimed. So if some of my lounges don't claim those boxes, then I'll put them up on the website. I'll let you guys know.
So to steal Dave's line, let me ask you this. So I love the patriotic theme. I'm a veteran myself, so
Thank you for your
anything
service.
patriotic. My pleasure. Anything patriotic really is I hold near and dear to my heart. So I got to ask. Obviously, are you a veteran? Have you served? Do you have family
I'm not.
members, or are you just a patriotic American that's looking to stand up to the man and say, you know what, you're not going to push us around. We're gonna continue to do our thing and do
Yeah, I
whatever you
did
got to
not
do, but
serve.
we're going to march forward.
I didn't serve. My grandfather served World War II. He was in Peleliu and Guadalcanal, so he saw some crazy. That's about as much military history as my family's got at the moment. As far as I'm a very patriotic person. I used to tell my friends, I'm like, my friends on the far right or the right, whatever you want to look at it. They think I'm left leaning, and my left friends think I'm right leaning. When at the end of the day, I'm just loyal to the Constitution. So I'm a kind of a constitutionalist at the end of the day, and our rights are given by God. The Constitution is there to tell the government what they can't remove from us, right?
Right.
So that's been my guiding principle my whole life. As a kid, I read a lot about the Revolutionary Wars, a lot about the founders, and it just instilled kind of this awe that these guys could take on one of the greatest empires of the world and kick their
And they
butts.
were they were a world empire. They were a world empire.
Absolutely.
And
At the moment,
I grew up in what is formerly known as Old Saratoga, is now called Stillwater. So I grew up in history, basically.
yeah,
The Saratoga National Park was in my backyard, literally in my backyard. So I'm an American history buff. So when I heard the name of your one cigar, I'm like, oh, okay, you piqued my interest now. Now let's hear more about it. So with your background, give me a little more of your background in cigars. How did you get into cigar smoking? How did you kind of briefly touched about how you started the company and why you started the company. Can you go into a little bit more about your background, how long you've been smoking, your favorite, how you came up with the blends? In other words, are
sure.
they the wrapper, binder, and fillers? Are they kind of to your core? Those were your blends that resonated with you. Kind of go into that and explain to everybody a little bit more depth, if you will.
Sure. All right. So my first cigar was in Miami in 2015, and it was a Cuban Cohiba that my friend had brought down. I was a project manager at the time. We were redoing the Miami Dolphins Stadium.
Wow.
And one of my techs was there. We had this really nice corporate apartment, actually not far from a good cigar shop that Miguel owns. And we were sitting there one night, 10th floor, eating a good dinner, just staring at the ocean. And he pulls out a box, and he's like, "Hey, have you ever had a cigar?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And so he hands me this Cuban Cohiba, and we smoked it, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Was that your very first cigar?
That was my very first cigar. It was I don't remember which line it was out of Cohiba, but it was a Churchill size. And we sat down, we smoked it. I got one hell of a nicotine buzz because I'd never had anything like that before. I other than the occasional marijuana as a teenager, I'd never smoked anything, right? So it rocked my world in a good way. And then I had a lot of guys that worked for me that were Cuban, like Cuban born. And so I came to work the next day, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I tried a Cuban Cohiba last night," and my one guy Yoel was like, "Oh, bro," he's like, "those are good, but he's like, I prefer Romeo Julieta or Monte Cristo." So he starts giving me cigars, And so I always had like cigars at the house. And then I took a different job, and my boss was Cuban there, and he gave me my first humidor, which I still have. And it was full of Cubans. That was like all I had was just Cubans that
Now,
Cubans gave
were
me.
they real Cubans? Were they not
Real Cubans. Real Cubans.
Okay.
Yeah, because at the time we could get them, right? In small quantities in the States, we could get them here. And like my one guy, Yoel, he went home for a trip, and he brought a bunch back, and he gave me a box of Monte Cristos as a gift. And so I just had those sitting in the humidor, and they were, I think they aged a few years, because that was 2017. And then when COVID hit, I was living in just outside of Austin, Texas, and we were locked down like everybody. So I think I smoked the whole box that week. I had nothing better to do.
Say that because during COVID was really when this became a thing for us.
Sure.
And OG will tell you, me and my dad at one point had considered starting something like this, and we didn't know how to do it. I bought the old school like podcast Zoom recorder.
Yep.
Not a clue what I was doing. So it was kind of the same thing like you. We were locked down. We had nothing to do. So we were like, let's start a podcast. And we were like, let's just bring cigars and wrestling together. And it went to Instagram with OG and another friend of ours, Kyle. And then we brought my dad on because we're like, well, I was like, I can get wrestlers. I said, but he knows more than I do. So, he can get guys on. And then it just kind of, went from there. And then we hooked up with MBR because of OG and my dad being a first responder as a fireman. They give, first responders and veterans their voices. So it we hooked up with them, and, we kind of started out, like pilot episodes, part 1 got into him, part 2 got into me, part 3 got into OG. And then, we went right from little just pilot episodes and intro episodes on who we were. That was like half hour, 45 minutes to, hour-long episodes in 2.5 weeks. We were at a lounge with this person, a lounge with this guy. We were at this event filming. We were here filming, there filming.
People don't realize OG had to leave for personal reasons. He's been gone for what, 2 years, OG?
Something like that. Year and a half, 2 years?
Year and a half. About a year and a half.
So he left for a year and a half. He hit me up. He said, yo, I want to come back. I said, bro, you always got a seat.
Same thing we told our other co-host, our other co-founder of the show. There was really 4 of us that did it. The idea started with me and him, and then it kind of went to Instagram with me, OG, and our buddy Kyle. And then my dad came back on, and then it kind of started with the 4 of us, but the other guy again had to step away because he was having a baby and his job and stuff like that. So he was like, listen, this is yours. You guys run with it. Do what you got to do. And I'm like, listen, whenever you want to come back, you have an open seat. I was like, if you one Sunday want to just jump on and say, hey, I want to come on and have a cigar with you guys and be a part of the show, I'm like, you have that open spot because it started with us.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, COVID was really what kind of, expanded your palate into cigars because you ain't got nothing to do but smoke and drink.
Yep. That's all I did.
Expanded us into the boutique world, and then it kind of jump started this idea here. And then from there, we've done so many other like offshoot things. We've done cigar events with our names on them. We've been invited to lounges to film. We've had open invitations. If you ever make it to, Florida, when you're ready to come down, you let us know. You film here, whatever. Like, it's gotten to the point now where, yes, it's a lot of work. Same way a cigar brand is.
Basically, Nate, it's worthy for us to travel, but if you want us to come to your lounge, you need to pay me to come to your lounge.
Yeah, of course. There's costs, right?
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Like if we're specifically coming there for that.
If I'm paying to come to your lounge, if you want us at your lounge, Turnbuckles and Stogies, you want us at your lounge, it's going to cost you airfare, hotel,
depending on where you are,
and flight. You want me to come to Florida? You gotta pay for my flight, bro.
And that's
I'll come and sit there
right.
all day from.
That's what our thing is now.
The time you close. But you want me to come to your lounge, pay for my hotel and my airfare.
You want to bring, you're right. That's how we, like if we film at a lounge now, kind of like we do with cigar brands. Listen, what do you want us to promote? If you have a house cigar or a house blend that you just came out with for your lounge, then let us know. And same thing. We just asked for one cigar.
Yeah.
Just one. Just to smoke and promote on the show. If you want to leave a box in the background, that's fine too. Like we've gone to places where we've done, in-person episodes. We went to Cigar World in Jersey, and it was kind of the same thing. What do you have? What do you want us to promote? I'll buy it, whatever. And, it was when Viaje had dropped their new small batch reserve that came in like a box of 50 or whatever it is.
We went there,
and she gave us a cigar of that. She gave us a lighter and was like, here. And that's what we promoted. We were promoting her shop. We were doing it there, smoking the cigar, using the lighter, so it's promotional, like you said, and it's swag to collect. Lighters, cutters, and then in-person lounges is now that's not only more exposure for them, but it's exposure for you too, because now people are walking in, they're seeing you filming. What is this? Oh, I run this podcast, and you kind of get to talk, and then it's like, well, I know this one, and it brings people together, and then now it gets to a point where it's like, well, okay, you want us to come there, if you're in Florida, or if you want us to come there, wherever, hey, listen, let's work something out. Maybe we can, co-host an event down there, and it's, hey, listen, airfare and hotel, and we'll do, we'll promote it. We'll do all the filming, whatever.
Makes sense.
So now, let me ask you this, getting back to your cigars as
By the
well.
way, look at what I'm smoking.
I know you sent us the Toro size.
Correct.
Do they come in other sizes? Are you only doing Toros? And if so, what made you do that?
So I have also got Robustos. Now we launched. I'm a Toro smoker. So once again, kind of like the swag, right? What do I enjoy? And that's the direction I went, right? And Toro, unbeknownst to me before I started this, was like the #1 selling size in North America, right?
That and Robusto are like
correct,
neck and neck.
Yep. And one of my my partners who lives in Orlando, he's a Robusto guy. And I smoke occasionally, Robusto here and there. Now, it was funny when we were doing the blends, and I should have sent you guys some. The Midnight Ride Robusto was, in my opinion, it was blended to be a Robusto.
I mean, you could still send it to us. You have an address.
I do. I probably will. Let me see if I got some 250s left around, and then I'll send you another care package. But absolutely. So when we did the blends, I really feel the Robusto is where the Midnight Ride really just sings.
Okay.
And the Toro and the Midnight, or the 1 lamp and the 2 lamp, are really what they were blended to be, in my opinion. So my blending philosophy's changed a little bit. So we're releasing a new one probably end of this year, beginning of next year. It'll be called the Lexington and Concord, aka the shot heard around the world.
Okay.
And it'll be a Toro, simply because I like Toros, really, to be honest with you. And I think the blend's really good in that. Now, it's the same blend as the 250. This kind of became a 6x56 just because a lot of my lounges had asked for a bigger Vitola.
Okay.
So that's how this was born. And then when we also were looking at wrapping it in the Declaration of Independence, we knew we needed a bigger ring gauge. So there was some practical reasons behind this. Now, when we blended it, I got some samples, we tried it, and 56 is about the biggest ring gauge I personally go. I'm not a Gordo smoker, so I guess you could call this Toro Grande or something of that nature. But I did like it in this. But now all my lounges are asking me, hey, can you release that in the Toro, please? So I was already looking to do the Lexington and Concord. I didn't know what it was going to be yet, but I've gotten such good feedback on this blend that we're going to just turn the blend into that.
Well, if you ever come out with a Gordo, I'm a Gordo guy,
Okay.
Yes, he is.
and I am a full-bodied Gordo guy.
Sure.
Full body.
I want a smack you in the mouth eye opener. Right now, my bedtime cigar, I'm gonna light up this Triple Maduro by Camacho. That's my bedtime cigar,
So
or
is
my
your
breakfast cigar, depending on when I want to have it. So my question for you, actually, here's a suggestion. If you
Sure.
ever come out with a Gordo, I would love to hear it. I would love the name of it to be the Benedict Arnold, because I want to be betrayed. I
that
want
is
this cigar to
I
violate
like
me
it.
and hurt my palate. Like I
Well, we are
am
one of the
always
other
in
ones
the
we're looking to do
hunger for
is
strong cigars.
we're looking to do a Liberty or Death cigar. Actually, that is a line I'm working on. So maybe it'll be a Gorda.
Benedict.
So that's real. I like that. So I got to tell you something. So I do things very. I feel backwards. So I come up with the name of the cigar before the blend usually.
Okay.
So so when I originally started the idea of doing a Revere cigar, the Midnight Ride was an easy one, right? That's what he's known for. So it was all right, 1 lamp, 2 lamp, Midnight Ride, easy peasy. From a branding perspective, right? And then it was like, well, what should that cigar be? Like, what should a 1 lamp be? What should a 2 lamp be? What should a Midnight Ride be? And I didn't initially think of doing, we'll do a Connecticut, a Habano, Maduro, something for everybody. It was more from a perspective of, well, 1 lamp is going to give a little bit of light, and 2 lamps will give more light, and then Midnight Ride's just crazy. So that's how we merged into doing a Connecticut, something lighter, not as strong on a nicotine wise on the scale. And then the Habano, a little bit more nicotine, a little bit more flavor, and then the Maduro should be a lot of flavor, a lot of nicotine, in my opinion. So that's how that became a thing. Shot Heard Around the World, or the Lexington and Concord, that's the current working name of it. I didn't know what we were going to do on a blend yet, but people have loved the 250 so much and that blend. So that one just was an easy win for me because people love it. I'm getting requests for it back. So that's easy. But yeah, Liberty or Death, that might work as a Gordo. Now that you thrown it up there at me.
And that Gordo is right up OG's alley because he loves Gordos.
Because OG just put that out there on our podcast. Shout out to OG, my man. Shout out to OG. Gave him a suggestion.
Okay, so if that becomes a thing, I will send those samples to you first, and we'll do this again, and he can smoke it.
Sounds like a plan. I'd be honored.
I do like the fact that you kind of are keeping with because I ran to go grab a drink with the Lexington and Concord and the 1 lamp and all that. I like the fact you're kind of keeping with the history of the story.
Yeah. Well, and we're also working on a blend. I sent Miguel 4 blend recipes that I believe they're rolled. They're just probably sitting in a wicking room resting. And one is the Green Dragon Tavern, because that's where everything was planned.
Yep.
The next one is Boston Tea Party. Now that currently is going to probably be a sweet cap for the people who like those out there, because it's a tea party. It should be sweet, right?
Right.
And then the idea is to do the Boston Harbor, which is the same blend but not sweet capped.
I like it. You got a lot of great ideas. A lot of great ideas.
More ideas than money and cigars right now. So
I like that idea. Now, with the sweet cap of the cigar, are you going to do the whole cigar to have a sweet flavoring, or is it going to be like a normal cigar but with that sweetness on the cap?
Normal cigar with the sweet cap.
Okay.
And what inspired me was the Deadwood Dominicana.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say that I was hoping it was something along those lines because...
Yeah, it's not a flavored cigar.
You get a lot of them that are sweet capped, as we call them, and it's through the whole cigar where...
Yep.
When the Deadwood Dominicana came out, I think I think I got the freestyle kit for it or whatever. I may have not.
That's how I had it.
But one of our good friends gave it to us when it was released. We went and seen him, and he was like, "Yo, smoke this. This is the new one." And I asked him, I said, "What is it?" He said it was like a sweet cap turned up a little bit shade. And I smoked it, and that's why I asked, because I like that they did the sweet cap, but it wasn't sweet through the whole cigar.
Yeah. I'm not doing. I will probably never do an infused cigar. Number one, with the most recent legislation stuff that just got overturned in the court with the PCA, right, to define what a premium cigar is. The moment you get into flavored, you're going to have more issues with FDA stuff, right? Like, it's not technically a premium cigar if it's flavored anymore.
Yeah, because because the cigar is altered. So once you alter
Exactly.
the cigar, then you fall in a different category.
Correct. So I'll probably never go down that route. Maybe never is a strong word, but in the Revere line, you'll never have a flavored cigar.
That whole legislation thing, and I've told people this, because people say, "Why don't you cover it?" I said, because I could do 6 weeks on just that legislation alone.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Makes no sense as far as, even and I've said this before on the show when it came out, the generational tobacco ban. They're trying to include premium cigars in the same realm as a cigarette, a snus pouch, a vape, a jewel, and it's completely different avenues, and I've told people that. And I said, we as cigar smokers and manufacturers and everybody else, so we can all band together and, say, hey, listen, write your senator, your congressman, whatever. The CRA sends out a thing that you can go online and just type in your name. And it sends it off to your congressperson, and it's just, you can do it, but just because you're doing it and, 5 million other people might do it, it may pass, it may not, because a lot of these states are starting to realize that have put a tobacco ban, how much their economy is being hurt due to not having the income from premium cigars.
Well, let's get back to what you're talking about, because, your dad has a lot of friends.
Well, that's what we were talking about.
He has a lot of friends in the politician world. So I've done that. I've spoke to a lot of people, and they're like, Dave, just send us the information and we will take care of it. So shout out to all my people.
See, the tough part about cigars and the legislation coming down on them is, unfortunately, there's not a single bill just isolated to whole tobacco. So when a bill goes in front of, like, I can only use New York State as an example. A good friend of my father's is one of the New York State legislators, one of the senators. And he said the tough part is cigars and tobacco, pure tobacco, are kind of getting lumped into not just cigarettes, but basically 5 or 10 other bills. So what's happening is these congressmen and these senators, they're voting on these bills as a whole, and unfortunately, the tobacco is just getting shoved in with a bunch of stuff that they want to pass. And for the other things to pass, unfortunately, cigars are going to take a hit. Pure tobacco is going to take a hit because they refuse to isolate premium tobacco separate from everything else. So that's where we're getting a lot of the butting heads, and that's why, unfortunately, it's very hard to make any kind of traction with pure tobacco legislation, is because it gets lumped in with everything from taxes, like general taxes, property taxes, to other state bills, all lumped into one. And they do this because these bills are thousands of pages.
Yes.
Thousands. And there's not one. If a politician said they've read all 2,383 pages, they're full of shit, because there is no way, they can't hire a team big enough to read this legislation. So what they do is they cherry pick. okay, my
Yep.
constituents, they want this, this, and this. Unfortunately, tobacco is in there. It's going to take a hit because I got more important things to pass than worry about tobacco. And that's where
Correct.
the challenge comes in. And that's why the TPA and all these other organizations, they're fighting like hell for us. It doesn't seem like it. They are. It's just you're
And
going up against a brick wall, you know?
they're making good headway. I mean, I think the PCA is doing great work. Obviously, the CRA is doing great work. So we've got two good organizations out there that are they're doing good. They're doing very good things. They are.
And now you have the TPA, which is a boutique, as I call it, a boutique friendly organization that we are a part of as well. And
I don't know them.
So kind of to give you a little bit of a background on them, it was started by Ishmael Alavan of BAMF, Dr. Oscar Rodriguez of GTO Cigars, Kathy from Cigar Box Marketing, and Ronnie of the Great Lakes Smoke Show.
Okay.
And what it was is they started this. I don't know if you've seen when PCA was going to New Orleans originally, there was no smoking inside.
Oh, interesting.
So what they did is they started this group, and when you join the group, it was basically for guys like us to go down to PCA, get all of our cigars, whatever they want to give you, whatever, and you can go either across the street or up the block to their warehouse they rented, and they were going to have tables and everything set up for all of us to go smoke in. So they had started this as kind of a, I don't want to say a screw you to PCA because it wasn't.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to PCA. It was more towards the city for not allowing the smoking inside, and they found a way to do it because they're a private organization, they're a private club.
Sure.
So then from there, the smoking obviously was allowed because PCA has been there for the last couple of years.
Yep.
What they did now is the group kind of formed also as well to put manufacturers with brand owners with lounge owners, with consumers and media. So basically what they did is they took everybody, distributors, brand owners, manufacturers, factories, media, and consumers, and made a group to where everybody can kind of come and coexist. So what it is if you
I'll have to look into that.
you become part of it as a brand owner. Now you get access. Yeah, I'll send you a
Yeah, please do.
and you just put that we sent you. And what it is it's basically you as a brand owner, when you release a new cigar, instead of trying to find through like algorithms, which is always nice to know that people's stuff is popping up, you can go down that list and you have a whole access of podcasts and media that you can now connect with, and you can go do like as I call it, a press run.
Yeah.
Of shows. And now you have access to all those people. And what it is too is so that when consumers order from you, because they're part of the TPA, whatever brand you have, or if you have a website they can order from, they get 10% off. So it's a benefit to consumers as well, but also to you as a manufacturer and a brand owner, because you have, consumers you may have never gotten before.
Yeah.
And it's actually worked out great for a lot of people.
No, that's a phenomenal idea. So yeah, please send me the link. It's funny. I just had a GTO cigar. I'd never even heard of them until a month ago.
So it's funny.
He is
I'm getting into what I think you're going into.
He is a surgeon.
He's a brain surgeon.
He's a brain surgeon. And people said, my buddy, shout out to Uncle Hector. My buddy went in for something with the hospital. And they
MRI.
And they said, do you smoke? He goes, yes, I do. He goes, I smoke cigars. And they go, well, you got to stop smoking. He goes, there's nothing in, and I hold this to my teeth. There's nothing in the world that says anybody has died from smoking cigars.
Correct.
They said to him,
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. People have people have died from throat cancer and tongue cancer and mouth cancer because they do smoke. The problem, there is no literature that ties
Cigars.
pure tobacco and cigars to that, is the point. So
I think
that hence the labels, you know, the requirement for the labels, smoking causes cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
So
well, it's interesting. If you look at the documents from that original study the government did in the 67, I think it was. If you get to the very bottom of that, they found that pipe smokers and cigar smokers outlive non-smokers.
And I think that's got to do what? Because it releases the
stress. Let's be very honest. It's stress
to relax your body.
It's just stress, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. So when I was getting back, not back into cigars, but getting more into cigars about 2019, right? And we were at an event at a friend's house in Texas, and my wife looked at him. He's an older gentleman, and she's like, "I don't understand this cigar thing. Like, why do men love cigars?" Like, and he put it in terms I'll never forget. And you've probably heard this, but for me as a newbie, he's like, you know, Christy, he said, it's real simple. It causes you to do nothing for an hour or more. And there's a great lounge in Houston, Texas, and their motto is the fine art of doing nothing.
And it's true because, and I tell people, they go, well, what do you do with, you know, in your spare time or on the weekends or whatever? And I'm like, I come home from work. Sometimes if I have the supply, I might have one on my break time.
Yep.
In between, because I work for the school district and I work with special needs kids. So like I work a couple hours in the morning and then I'm off for 3 or 4 hours and then I go back to bring them home in the afternoon. So I have a couple hours break time, so I may smoke a cigar depending on how my morning went.
Yeah.
But most of the time I come home, if I want to smoke one, I'll smoke it to relax myself. I go take my nap, I get up like nothing ever happened, I go back to work, I come home and I smoke one more, sometimes two, depending on how late I want to stay up that day.
So guys,
but it's like you said, it goes back to that, you know, art of doing nothing for an hour.
On that note, we got to take a break and we'll be back with our guest of the week.
Everywhere I go, trouble seems to find me. There ain't no place that I fit in. Raised in the backwoods, and just like him, oh, I'm a fighting man. Well, I was born with a gun in my hand, child of this land. Lord, please save me from my sins, out here howling in the wind. Look to the west, see your sunset. Someday seems to find me. There ain't no place that I fit in.
Yo, what is up? What is up? Yo, happy Sunday, happy fun day, whatever day you call it. It is I, the big dog, the Vanilla Gorilla, the OG, and we have our special guest of the week, Nate from Revere Cigars.
And I'm rocking the Stogies and Bogies hat from 4 John's Apparel. Go get yours over there. We got something
Nate,
coming. Don't
I'm gonna
worry.
tell you right now. Look at this cigar.
I'm really. He's smoking the Midnight Ride. I'm excited to try that.
Right here.
This Connecticut though.
This Midnight Ride
is actually very good.
Just saying.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's one of my favorites.
I like the the ideas behind it make perfect sense.
OG, when you get the cigars, let me know how you like it.
So now let me ask you this, because I was very curious. How did you come up with the design for the bands?
I work with a great designer. So, in all transparency, my logo was created by ChatGPT.
and that's okay, because honestly, and I've told people this, you know, having, and it's funny you bring that up, because that's kind of like our logo. Our original logo was created by our producer in Colorado, and then he created us another one. And then he created us another one. And then I was like, well, let me play around with this. So I went to Gemini, because I didn't feel like paying for ChatGPT.
Sure.
And the logo that you see in the right-hand corner is our logo that we had, but I said make it more realistic. And then I took my logo and his logo, and I made it the side plates of the belt. So that's kind of, and the ChatGPT has kind of given me the freedom to almost explore my creativity of designs.
Yep.
Without having to, not that I don't want to pay somebody, because I would love to be able to pay somebody to do it and say, hey, make me this design.
Of course.
But being able to kind of do it on my own and at least have a concept, and then go to, you know, our guys at 4 John's and say, hey, listen, here's my concept. Here's what I made. What can you do for it? Here's what I want to tweak on it. See what you can do. And then, like, our cigar band logos was our logo in the middle, which is our belt, but it didn't print right. So I brainstormed a couple other logos without that picture, and was like, I sent it to our guy. I was like, hey, listen, whatever one of these works, use it. Whatever one prints good, use it.
Yeah, so the band came about. I had some very specific design elements I wanted in it. I was working with a designer out of Dominican Republic originally, and he had created 2 bands for me, the main band and then a band below it. And I was happy, but not thrilled.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, it's good enough, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. So when I met Miguel, he said, hey, do you have a box design? And I said, no, I need someone to do that for me, because I don't have a box design. So he introduced me to a gentleman named Johnny Bernetti. Johnny Bernetti works for a lot of big guys and a lot of small guys. So Johnny looked at what I had, and he said, hey, are you happy with your band? And I said, no, I actually want one whole band. I don't want 2 bands. I want one whole band. So I said, look, it's got to have the Paul Revere quote on it. It's got obviously my logo, the name of every cigar, and then something to kind of differentiate the cigar, right? They're on the band. So if you look, like at the Midnight Ride, if you look on the very back of the band, you'll see the horse and the rider. The one lamp's got one lamp on it, and the 2 lamps got 2 lamps right there, right? So that was a Johnny idea. The coin in the middle, that's pure Gianni. That was all him. So I use AI a lot, though. So the parent company that I own is called Flame and Leaf, and it owns Revere. And that just gives me some freedom to do things outside of Revere. So we're working on a cigar right now called the Spurgeon, after Charles Spurgeon, the famous preacher and cigar smoker. So I just sat down with ChatGPT and I was like, hey, this is what I want it to be. So it shot out a bunch of ideas. I gave it feedback. And then I send all that to Gianni saying, hey, here's kind of the look and the feel. Make it your own.
Right.
And so he'll take elements that I'm like, hey, these are non-negotiable. You probably have a better idea for something here. And he works through it. So it's a very collaborative process between AI and a real human being.
And that's nice that you have again, because of AI, and not only that, owning the parent company and then having, like you said, Revere kind of off of that, and then have another brand if you want off of that.
Correct.
And you're able to differentiate the brands, but also create a different set of branding and logos and stuff like that for your other brand. And having somebody like that you can kind of, hey, listen, here's a bunch of ideas. Do what you got to do. That's why, like I said before with the banding was, we ran into kind of the same issues of like, here's what we wanted, here's what we were going to do. And then I sent it to him, was like, hey, do this. Or, hey, make it this way. If that doesn't work, here's 2 more.
Exactly. Yeah, and Johnny hooked me with a great printer out of Sanford, Florida, which is not far from where I live, called Action Label. And they do phenomenal work, as you can see. You're holding it.
Yes, I've heard of them before, too.
They do wonderful stuff. I walked in there one day to pick up the 250 bands, and I was snooping around because I was curious what else they did. So I saw the Vistas for the Pappy cigars. They print those there, and the Hooten Van Young bottles. They do the metal label for those. I don't know if they do the cigar bands or not, but yeah, they're a phenomenal group. They do very good work.
And that's big that you have kind of those guys that you can, go right to and be like, hey, this isn't right, or this didn't work, whatever.
Yeah, it's a very collaborative process. Now, Dennis, I know you would ask me a slew of questions. I think I only answered 1 or 2, if you can remember all of them.
I was just trying to. I know I
you had asked
machine gunned off a few of them, and now I was sitting here trying to remember the others. I can't remember now.
What made him get into cigars, stuff like that.
He answered that. Boy, it happens when you get older. You know what I mean? You spit stuff out because you don't want to forget it, and then you forget what you spit out. So
I need to start taking notes when people ask me questions so I can answer all of them.
All right. So you know what? This is about the time of the show I ask the question, my question anyway. So let me get right into it. I ask this of everybody that comes on. So life is, the world is spinning out of control. Life is crazy. We're all going in 100 different directions at once. Let's say, for the sake of this conversation, you get 1 hour of uninterrupted time. No phone calls, no interruptions whatsoever. And you can smoke a cigar with anybody, past, present, or future. How would you spend that time? Who would you spend it with?
Ooh. I got to say, I'd probably sit down and smoke with Charles Spurgeon or Winston Churchill.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, Spurgeon's, so I'm a Christian. I usually start my morning with a cigar, black coffee, and a Bible. And it's just how I start my mornings.
Okay.
So knowing Spurgeon was a thinker and a cigar nut, I would probably sit down with him, smoke a Churchill Vitola, and just pick his brain on theology.
Okay, awesome.
If I had the chance to sit with Winston Churchill, same thing. I'd be smoking a Churchill, obviously. And I'd probably talk to him about leadership.
Great. I always, I like I said, I ask everybody this, and I've had asked these guys. I've had answers all over the gambit on, from their fathers to, people, moments in time and stuff. Somebody once said Ronald Reagan, I mean, it's been all over the place. Mine, and I tell everybody this, I think ultimately, obviously, it's an easy go-to is my grandfather. That would be the answer, easy answer to everything would be
Sure.
my grandfather. But the one person I would love an hour with, and that would have been George Burns. And now here's why.
That's a
That
great one.
man is that man is so smart, so intellectual, so funny,
I was gonna say funny
and
as hell.
and I fell in love with George Burns, and when he did the interview on Johnny Carson, and Johnny asked him, how many cigars do you smoke a day? And George said, on average, 18. And he said, and then Carson responds, well, what does your doctor say? And he said, I don't know, he's dead. So,
I
and that
remember
was
that
when,
quote.
Mind
and
you,
he was like
George
96
Burns
at the time on Johnny
lived
Carson's
to
show.
what, 110
And
or some shit?
I think George Burns would be my ultimate. I would love 1 hour with George Burns. Just his life and his career and his love for cigars. He only smoked one cigar that was made just for him. That's it.
Really?
He never smoked any other cigars. It was made just for him.
And it
It
was a
was,
church.
it was a, oh my God, I know this one because I've heard this trivia a million times and I'm drawing a total blank. But I believe the rapper was either, I want to say it was a Maduro or a Habano. I think the Habano. And his was all, um, they were Puro. I remember that. I just don't remember
Where it came
the
from?
binder and filler.
So he
But it was
used
a
Yeah.
Puro. And they made him just for him. And he would buy, what did he say? I'm trying to think the A&E interview I saw with
he
him.
would smoke I looked it up. It says legendary comedian George Burns smoked 10 to 20 cigars a day for 86 years. He
Yes.
primarily smoked the El Producto Queens.
Yes. And it was actually the only one.
He used them.
He had bundles and
One of his
bundles made for him
punchlines is
weekly.
famously joked that his doctors told him to quit smoking, but he outlived them. He was buried with 3 of his favorite cigars. He roughly smoked 313,000 cigars in his lifetime.
Wow.
Easily, one after another.
Wow.
Like when he was on
It was rare
Johnny, he
to
had
see
3
without a
alone when he
cigar
was
on
on
stage.
Johnny
Many
Carson that
historians and
episode.
online's discussants such as those on they give like Reddit note he often used them as a prop and rarely inhaled. Which at that time I could see maybe chewing on them because that was a big thing.
Yep.
A lot of guys did that, and you can always tell.
That's
And I don't know
coming.
if you
That's
guys
becoming a thing again.
some of these
That's
lounges
becoming a
'cause I
thing again.
noticed
People
it.
chewing their cigars.
Yeah, so I worked at a gas station, and ironically, it was just funny to me. But I've noticed in lounges that's becoming a thing again. But I was in a gas station when I worked there. A guy came, older guy. I want to say he was an older Italian guy. Comes in, goes to pay for his gas or his cigarettes, whatever, and puts his cigar down. And you can see he's been chewing on it because it's not rounded anymore. It's flat. So you can see he's been, and it's almost at the band, and it's a 60 ring. So you can see he's kind of been cutting away at it because he's been chewing on it. So it's not unheard of to have that generation chewing on cigars because that's kind of what they did. But do I believe he smoked those cigars? I do.
Yeah,
Do I
I would
believe
say yes.
during his
Oh, yeah.
sets it might have been used as a prop?
Oh, yeah.
Probably, because why are you going to smoke and do your set at the same time?
Yeah.
He did. He did. He smoked in movies. In all of
Right,
his
that's what I'm
movies, he
saying.
was
They're
smoking
saying he
cigars.
didn't inhale them, but for those who don't know, you're not supposed to inhale cigars.
Correct.
Well, that's probably this is not meant to insult that author, wherever you quoted from, but it was probably
That's just
somebody
what
that
Google
didn't know anything about cigars.
That's what Google
So,
said, and they said it's
yeah.
discussed on Reddit. And a lot of times, and I'm gonna say because I've seen it, Reddit forums are sometimes a lot of people that don't know a whole lot about cigars.
Yeah.
And then you get the ones that do know a lot about cigars. So it's kind of like you said, it's a toss up of who said it, where they got it from. But I mean, it's insane to think 313,000 cigars across his lifetime. And some
Yeah.
of us are never even going to touch a quarter of that number because a lot of us may only smoke let's just say 3 to 5 a day.
Yeah, that's where I live.
And OG is a different case. That guy smokes, and I say this to him all the time. This ain't something I hide. I tell him he chain smokes cigars like a chain smoker smokes cigarettes. and he'll tell you, I've said this to him in person. This is not something I've ever not said to him. I've had to tell him to slow down. Because and you've probably had this too, Nate. When you smoke too fast, you don't get a burn, you get a cone.
Yep.
So and OG tells people this story because it's a valid story. We've all done it. He was smoking a Texas Lancero. Now we know that's a fucking big cigar. And I'm laying in bed. It was early in the day. It was a weekend. I remember it was a weekend day because I was home from work. So I was laying in bed as everybody does, and you're scrolling through Instagram, and I see him go live. So I'm like, let me jump in and say hello and watch him. And he's puffing, and I see the cone, and I keep telling him slow down, and he's puffing, and I'm going, bro, slow down, and he's puffing. Finally,
I think it's the fix.
This big.
I got a spear. I had a spear.
He's like, I don't understand what the fuck is wrong with this cigar. And in the comments,
carbonized it.
It just keeps getting bigger, and I'm going, slow down. And he's just going, no, Joe, I don't know what's wrong with this cigar. So finally, I'm like, holy shit. I get on live, and I'm like, dude, put the cigar down for 5 seconds. He goes, no, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, put the fucking cigar down. And I can say this because this is probably going to go on YouTube because I've said too many curse words already. And I'm not allowed to say certain words because of certain sponsors that the radio station has. So I try to curb my F words, but
your sentence enhancers, as a good friend calls them.
Oh my God. He jumped on and I jumped on. I'm like, put the fucking cigar down. He goes, why? I'm like, just trust me. He goes, I can't get rid of this cone. It won't ash off. I'm like, put the fucking thing down.
Hey, we all do it.
He puts it down finally, right? He puts it down. He goes, man, I really am enjoying this cigar, but I think I got a bad one. I don't understand. I'm like, give it a second. I think it was like a minute or two later. He picks it up. I said, ash it. He goes, it's gone. I said, slow down. And he was he goes, so I said, when you smoke too fast, you get a cone. And then from there on, I've caught him do it a few times where people will be smoking and they'll get the cone and he'll go, slow down, put the cigar down for a minute. And they put it down. They go, how did you know that? He goes, because somebody had to tell me to slow down. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking somebody. Both of you slow down, goddammit. Shit.
I've got
like,
friends who
get cones. I said, because I know how to pace myself. You fucks.
Exactly. You know, I'm a big pipe smoker too, and I tend to really puff on a pipe hard, and that'll turn pipe tobacco nasty so fast. So a lot of times, you know, I'll be like, this tastes terrible, and then I'll be like, oh well, I'm just carbonizing the whole bowl.
Right. No, and that's another, you know, that's an art in itself, is smoking.
Oh, it is.
I tried that one. I didn't have cigars, and I tried it, and I had my dad load the pipe for me because he was leaving. He has a pipe, and I'm like, well, before I buy one, let me try it and see if I even I like it.
Yeah.
And I lit it. I was sitting in the house, and I lit it, and I'm puffing, and it's not doing anything. And I'm torching the top because I know I have to torch it because I learned. And I'm puffing and it's not doing anything. Finally, I took it and turned it over and I just dumped it out. And he was like, well, what did you think? I said, yeah, don't ever give me that shit again. and I said, it's not that I don't have the patience for it. I said, but when I want to smoke something, I want to enjoy it. I don't want to have to baby it. And again, that's me. That's me personally.
Exactly.
You know, and that's
well, that's the thing I was going to say about, you know, you guys, you know, they'd say to me all the time, like, oh, gee, that's like we've only been on the podcast 45 minutes and that's like your fourth cigar. How can you possibly enjoy it?
And again, I understand.
But that's my rhythm. That's my rhythm. And I do enjoy it. And people don't understand that. I'm like, if I wasn't enjoying it, I wouldn't be smoking at this pace. But this is
Right.
my natural pace, and this is how I
And I
smoke, and this is how I
guarantee
enjoy
you
it.
that is
I get
this.
all the flavor profile you guys do. I'm just at a quicker pace. That's all.
And again, everybody smokes their own speed, and I've learned that throughout the podcast and hanging out with OG in person, and then having conversations. Because there was a few times I'm like, I gotta ask him about this cigar now because I want to see if he's actually getting the same notes that I'm getting. So I've had conversations. I'm like, bro, how the fuck do you enjoy that? I'm like, I'm smoking the same thing. I said, how are you enjoying that? I said, because I'm enjoying all the notes. He's like, oh yeah. He goes, I'm getting this and I'm getting this and this. And I'm like, okay, so he is enjoying it. He is catching the flavors because again, we've all seen it. You get people who blow through cigars and it's like, what'd you get out of that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
like, but you just smoked it in 20 minutes. Yeah, it was okay. Did
You know, I do that sometimes. I'll light up a cigar, but I'm multitasking, quote unquote.
Mhm.
Like I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'll get done, and I have this terrible sense of like that was not fulfilling, and I don't remember what it tasted like at all. If it tasted like anything other than smoke, right? And it's because I was
Right.
just not mindful during the process.
No, and it's true, and I've done that myself. Whether it's uploading podcasts or when I worked for a company as a broker, I had to peak time. I worked for a company at one point in time, and OG knows. I was there. It was me. It was the owner, his vice president, and me. I was their other guy. Like I was the Northeast. My title was like national sales director because it was just us.
Sure.
And I will say, peak COVID time was fantastic for me and my cigar smoking because I wasn't working, so I was doing cigars full time, working as
Yeah.
working from home. I'll tell you, by the way, guys, if you don't know, if you get in the cigar world and this is what you want to do, just know, like, it's a lot of work. Because I'll tell everybody it's a lot of work because I know from experience. The benefit to that is working from home because I would get out of bed, I'd make my coffee, I'd grab my cigar, I'd get on my computer, I'd still be in my drawers. And it was probably my favorite time I've ever worked because I didn't have to actually get dressed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one benefit I'll say is working from home with a cigar company was great because I literally rolled out of bed, grabbed my cigar, grabbed my coffee, and started sending emails at like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Again, it was great. It was a lot of work. And that's why I've shied away from doing it. And like I've had people ask me, "Oh, will you work for me? Would you?" I'm like, I don't really want to work for one company. I'd rather kind of, you know, support everybody who I like and whose cigars I'm enjoying and say, "Hey, listen, you should contact this person and get them in the shop." Or
Yeah.
contact them for samples. Or if I have one, hey, listen, smoke this. If you like it, I'll give you the information. Just reach out and tell them, I gave it to you. Because I did the tie down to one company thing. It was great. I loved it. But I kind of like the freedom I have now. Like if I don't want to go to a lounge, I don't go to a lounge. I sit here. If I go to a
Exactly.
lounge and I want to, get somebody in there, hey, listen, I have this cigar from a friend of mine's company. It's a great cigar, not just because he's my friend, but let me know your thoughts. And that's kind of where we've come up with the idea to do our limited run. We're kind of testing the waters while everything is in motion. We're kind of like, hey, let's just get something out there with our name on it and see how it sells. If people like it, or, like we're going to send samples to certain people and like this person might get a 5-pack, that person might get a 3-pack, whatever, just to see what people's feedback is. And I think that's a key thing of being able to do stuff like this, where you can essentially do, like you said, with your new blends or whatever, you can essentially do a test blend, podcast and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? And it's like a live roundtable.
Yeah, you want that market feedback, right? And you want it from people who are experienced, have smoked a lot of everything, right?
No, absolutely.
Yep.
And that's why I said you're Connecticut, it's nice to know it's out of Nicaragua because I love I've come to love Dominican cigars now as well. And I think that's because my palate has become more refined over the years. I used to never like it. And it was because it was that very earthy, like grassy taste to me, and I didn't like that. Now my palate has become refined. I've started to enjoy Dominican cigars. And
You know, it's funny. Other than the Cubans I started out with, right? I was a Dominican Honduran guy forever. That's all I would smoke. I rarely touched a Nicaraguan. And then I don't remember what the cigar was. A friend of mine gave me one, and he had taken the band off of it. And he's like, "Hey, just try this, see what you think." And I was like, "All right." And I tried it. I was like, "Man, this is wonderful. What is this?" And I don't remember the brand, but it was a Nicaraguan. And that's when I started hunting more Nicaraguan.
now let me ask you this. What did you experience in the difference between Nicaraguan and Honduran and Dominican tobacco?
So Dominicans to me were always a smoother experience, right? I know that's kind of a generic term, but Retrohale was easier.
What you're saying, though.
Hondurans to me reminded me more of the Cubans that I started out with. And then Nicaraguans, what really drew me to them was that peppery, kind of lively nature, for lack of a better word.
Right.
There was just more to them, in my opinion. They unveiled themselves like a good cologne, right? You spray a good cologne on, you get the first top notes, right? It's kind of harsh. And then it just slowly dries down throughout the day, and it reveals itself in different ways, right? That to me was a Nicaraguan cigar.
And you know, it's funny because I started complete opposite. Like, I smoked the Dominican and I didn't like it. My first cigar was an acid blondie.
Okay.
My dad gave it to me. I turned 18. I wanted to go smoke a cigar, and it was okay. It wasn't for me at the time. I still haven't tried it again in later years. Now having kind of a refined palate, I haven't tried it in a long time. But I didn't like the taste of it. I didn't like that.
Well, it's infused, right?
The pulpery taste.
Yeah.
And again, I tell everybody, because I love the guys at Drew Estate. At OG will tell you they're great friends of the show. We love those guys.
They do great stuff, man.
They always take care of me. But that wasn't for me. And that's not a knock on them. That line sells fantastic. I've seen it. And then I went from that to I want to say it was either that same day or by the end of the week, I was at an Asylum 13 770 triple Maduro. Like, I went from one extreme to the complete opposite. And, you know, a lot of Asylum stuff is made out of Nicaragua by Aurora. So I had always smoked a lot of Nicaraguan cigars. And that's kind of where I always stayed. And then you get the occasional Dominican I threw in here and there that I liked, but I used to only smoke a lot of Nicaraguans because I had such bad experiences with that Dominican tobacco.
Sure.
With that earthiness and that, you know, like, it sounds
some minerality
weird.
almost,
a lot
right?
of people don't say it, but barnyard notes, like that hay.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And it sounds weird because obviously you don't smoke hay, but we all know what it smells like. We've all been to a farm or like a carnival where they've had, the hay mazes, and you've fallen and gotten hay in your mouth. It happens. And I never liked it. And then as my palate's become more refined over the years, I've come to realize, like, there are Dominicans out there that are fantastic.
Absolutely.
And it's because your palate may have not been ready for it at that time. And
correct.
And you just, I don't remember if it was Nate that touched on it or if it was you, Joey, but a very important thing that a lot of cigar smokers forget about is the soil that the tobacco is grown in. Has a great effect on the tobacco in your experience that you're
100%.
getting. So the Nicaraguan soil is completely different than a Honduran soil, which is completely different. Not that there's a lot of true Cubans made anymore in Cuba. Well, at least not the seed anyway.
Right.
My point is, though, is soil greatly affects your smoking experience between tobaccos.
Look at Nicaragua. You have the soil in Jalapa, the soil in
Condega,
and then you got Condega soil, and then you have Ometempe soil,
Yeah.
which is which is right by the volcanoes. And each
I was going to say the
cigar
volcanic. Yep.
that you get out of there is a completely different cigar each time, because of the fact of, like you said, where it's grown, where it's made.
Yeah, and what's the altitude too, right? So like
Exactly.
one of my favorite Davidoffs is their Yamasa. And that's just the wrapper, really. But it's in a really high altitude. It's a really tough area to grow tobacco.
And that's the thing.
But it's a phenomenal cigar. I think the first time I had their Yamasa wrapper was on their Gold Medal Award or Gold Band Awards. I don't remember what it's called. And you can't find them anymore, I don't believe.
Gold Band Award. Yeah.
Gold Band Award, yeah. Man,
Yeah.
I smoked one of those and I was like, this is amazing. What is this? And I dug into it and I was like, okay, it's Yamasa wrapper, because I couldn't find that specific cigar anymore hardly.
Well,
So then I started buying the
Yamasas.
Yamasas.
They make it as Yamasa.
Yeah, Yamasa, and it's a phenomenal cigar.
And again, that it's I tell everybody, as far as like branding goes, it's just a matter of what you like. Like, I've had bad experiences with most of the Davidoffs I've smoked, except for like one.
Sure.
Which was the Escurio, the Little Perfecto.
Yep, that's a great cigar.
Absolutely enjoyed that. And like, people have told me to try the Nicaragua and the Yamasa, and there's a couple other ones. I'm like, but I've had so many bad experiences that it's not that it's not on my list, it's there. And that's not a knock on the brand, because they have so many other things like Arturo Fuente. I like some of the Fuente stuff, but when you start hitting that Opus line, it's not made for my palate.
Yeah, that's like Gurkha for me. I don't know what it is about the Gurkhas. They just do not hit well, no matter what I have tried.
That ever used
Nothing really settles right with me.
Some of the cellar stuff does tend to settle, okay for me, is good. The one that really used to hit for me before it got redone was the Ghost. The Ghost.
I don't think I've had that one.
The Maduro. I used to get it in a tube when I got it. It was
yeah.
At the time, it was the only Gurkha I smoked that I loved. Like, that I would, if it was in a humidor, I would go out of my way to grab it. But now they did the Habano version. Habano's okay, but when you come out with that strong full body Maduro, and then you kind of go backwards, it's like, how do you really, do that? But again, it's like you said before, Nate, it's for everybody. They're trying to get everybody to smoke that line.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of people miss, and it sucks, because you went from that very first one to the Habano, which is, it's good. It's not a bad cigar, but when you find that first one and you love that one, and it's like, then you go to this one, it's like, it doesn't compare, because again, it's two different wrappers, but you had that one as the Ghost for so long. Where like brands like yourself are releasing all the wrappers at one time, and in, like you said, in a Robusto and a Toro, because you're catering to the masses of people who want that short 30 to 45 minute smoke. But then you're doing the Toros for those guys who want that hour and 20 minutes. And then you go to Gordos, which for somebody who smokes, at a normal pace, not named OG, that's like an hour and 15, hour and 30 minute smoke.
Or 40, 45 minutes.
Half hour. But it's all love. But no, it's and I really am like, this Connecticut, and I told this to you in the beginning, as I'm getting to the end of it, I'm actually enjoying this. And this is, for me, it's very hard to find Connecticut's I like, because I'm so used to them, again, like you said, just being like monotoned.
Yeah, there's not a lot to them.
They don't have that bite, and I told the same thing to Hyman as well. His Connecticut was the same way. I said, I love it. It's great. Now,
yeah,
I know you did the round. I know you did the regular round cigars. Have you considered like a box press line, or is that maybe something in the works down the line, or
it'll be something down the line?
Even adding to these lines, maybe adding a box press Vitola.
Maybe. I'm trying. Once again, I do things weird. So, if we do a box press, it will probably be a completely different line.
Okay.
and I'm trying to always keep the blend specific to a Vitola. Like, what does this Vitola work? What does this blend work for in a Vitola, right? How does it best serve the story of the brand? So that's how I approach everything. I approach everything from a storytelling perspective. Like, what's the vibe? Where am I trying to put someone in the story of the cigar, right? So if I start doing Churchills and Gordos and the Midnights and the one lamp and the two lamp, am I diluting the story and the intention of that cigar?
Understood.
No, I think that's an underappreciated aspect of the
Right.
cigar business is these stories behind these cigars. Like, I'm attracted to the story, and Nate, you said your first cigar was a Cohiba, a Cuban Cohiba, and
Correct.
Joey, you said yours was the Acid Blondie. Mine was Man of War. And why was it Man of War? Mine was the very first one was the original Man of War.
Yes.
I got into it because of the display
The Ruination.
at the cigar festival. They had the girls there. They were all in their Roman gear, and they had the soldiers there. And I was like, boom, eye candy, right? So I went and I specifically got that cigar to be my first one because of the eye candy, because the story behind it, and AJ Fernandez. That was the reason I purchased my very first cigar was the Man of War. And to this day, that is my number one go-to cigar. I have to have one in my humidor because that is my first love. That was my first cigar,
let me ask you
and
this.
fell in love with it. And that's where I jumped down the rabbit hole, and I never wanted to climb back out.
Now,
It
let
happens.
me ask you this about that, because I always like to ask this too. I know you said yours was like a Churchill size, right, Nate?
Correct.
So, OG, let me ask you this: the Ruination. Do you remember because that was the first Man of War, was the Ruination.
I got one in my humidor right here.
Which size did you have? Because I can tell you what the first one I had was.
This one here, I believe, is
it a box press?
No, it is Gran Toro, or I don't think it's the Gordo. I gotta find it.
Okay, so I'll tell you which one I had. And this will show how long I've really been smoking, because I don't see this size anymore. I had the big Perfecto Salomon size of the Man of War.
I've had that, and I love that. But I don't think that's not the one I have.
That was the first one I ever had. I loved it. First one I've ever had, and absolutely fell in love with that size of the cigar. Now,
I'm sorry, I got like over 300 cigars in this. I can't find it. It's buried in there somewhere.
I don't know if this was
ridiculous.
Grabbing a drink or whatever. You know what?
I think I got to go to rehab for cigars because I really do have a fucking problem.
Let me take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back, and I'll ask my question.
All right.
Yo, so I keep telling y'all, the boss knows every motherfucking body. Keep telling y'all that. So guess who showed up at the hotel here in Connecticut? And y'all not gonna believe this shit. Joe, are they ready for this shit, Joe?
I don't know. Are they?
Y'all not gonna believe this shit, but I'm gonna show y'all who showed up. This is the CEO and founder of NESS.
And one half of the
My man.
Sports Show.
Go ahead, man.
What's going on, fellows out there? Glad to be here with my favorite wrestling podcast. I love these guys. They're unique. They're funny. And I'll tell you, they know a lot about wrestling. You got to go to the Roku channel. Yeah, all you got to do, channel search on Roku TV, channel search National Streaming Sports, and you'll get their show.
So, Mac, let me ask you this. So, they can't find it. It's like the Pat McAfee show. Once ESPN take that shit off for the hour, it's done.
That's right. That's right.
So if you're not gonna watch from 11 to 12:30, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. It's like being a barn. Wait, it's like being a barn smoker. If you ain't got your fucking
I know what to
ticket,
tell
you ain't getting in.
I know what to tell you.
Go ahead.
Go to the Turnbuckles and Stogies podcast YouTube page, and you can watch all of our back episodes from episode 5 and on.
But
the originals are on the MV Radio YouTube page.
Let me tell you something else. Go where people know. 12,430 followers.
Whoa!
On the Roku channel.
Whoa!
1,600 views a day.
I feel like Elizabeth.
I'm telling you.
Elizabeth, fat sad foot Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I'm coming, Elizabeth.
I mean, you don't get any better than that.
Sports all day, every day, to include my favorite wrestling podcast.
Well, and there you have it, guys. Our producer from Connecticut, Mr. Mac Attack himself. And God bless us. Yo, we'll see y'all. We took a Sunday off. So we'll see y'all next week. Have a good day, guys.
All right.
Absolutely one of my favorites.
I love that commercial.
That is that. Rest in peace to Mac. Mac, we love you. We miss you. We wouldn't have been where we are without you guys, without him and MBR. We wouldn't have been where we are. So, now, being on the subject of your cigars and kind of talking like we were about, different Vitolas and stuff like that, what is the average price of your cigar? And then what is, where can people order them? Can they order from you? Do they have to go through lounges? And
Both.
kind of give us a pricing, on the cigars and the boxes, the different sizes, whatever.
Yeah, so you're pop quizzing me here. I believe on the website the Toros are around $15 a piece. If you buy a 3-pack, they're a little bit cheaper. Or maybe they're 14 and change. I don't remember.
Okay.
A box of 10 is 140 for a Toro, and I think it's 135 or 130 for Robusto.
That's not bad at all.
They can go to reverecigars.com and order direct. Though I always want to push people to go to the lounges, please. Support the lounges. Let's support our brick and mortars.
Yes. Now, how many lounges are you in? Are you all over the country, just in Florida?
I'm in 9 lounges across the Southeast.
Okay.
Currently. So I got stock in March of this year. And I just hit the road and started selling. So I'm in 9 lounges. I'm in 2 in Florida, 1 in Georgia, 1 in Mississippi, the Country Squire, Jackson, Mississippi. And then I've got 3 in Texas and 1 in Maryville, Tennessee, which is just outside of Knoxville.
Wow. So you're making your way back up this way.
Slowly.
This market is hard to get into. This whole Northeast market is very hard.
Yeah, so I've got a day job still, so it works for me, and my territory is the Southeast, so it's very easy for me to go do my day job and then the evening to call our lounges.
Right.
You might
Texas
be able
is
to get into.
good market.
You might be able to get into Saratoga Springs, New York. That's again home of the Revolutionary War. With Revere Cigars, I mean, come on, it's a natural fit right there.
That you would think. I haven't been to Charleston, South Carolina yet, but that should be another easy one, right?
Maybe
not easy, but
too, they'll go with the story behind it, and you have the story. There's the history behind it, and a lot of times, even now, I've seen it. A lot of cigars with some sort of historic meaning behind it, they tend to sell a lot more now than they did before.
Yeah, it's funny. I did one podcast, and my first shop in Texas, he was actually the first dealer to take me on, and I didn't have cigars yet. I just told him, hey, here's what it is. I met him at a pipe show, finally face-to-face, and just said, hey, they're coming. And he had a guy drive an hour to go to his lounge, and I think he bought a box.
Wow.
And it was just after seeing something like this, right?
Now, I noticed behind you, is that your personal humidor, or is that for not
That's
only your
both.
personal stuff, but that's both, right?
That's both, yeah. So this is it's a construction site, but this will eventually be my personal lounge.
And that's in your house?
It's in a metal building on my property.
Very nice.
So when we bought our house in Florida, it was a 30 by 35 metal building, So when I decided to do this, it was like, oh well, I need a walk-in humidor to store stock, so we built that. And then I was like, well, if we're gonna build that, I might as well build a lounge. That way, I've got somewhere to hang out. You know.
Yeah, and it gives you, if you have people down there that you trust,
Exactly.
you wanna,
Bring them here.
try new cigars and say, hey, listen, you know what? Come to my house on Tuesday at 7.
Yep.
I'll have some new stuff for you guys to try. You let me know what you think. And they get to smoke it with you.
Exactly.
And I think that's a big thing, as far as like, doing stuff like this is we're not just smoking the cigar to smoke it and tell people about it. We're here to sit down with you and learn about you and your story and about the cigars. And it blends everything together. It gives them the history behind the cigars, but also it gives them a chance to learn more about you.
Correct.
And I think
It
that's
looks like
great.
yeah, no, it looks like the perfect place to, I don't know, host a podcast of some sort,
Well,
I'm
it's
just
funny.
saying.
My oldest daughter, her fiance, was like, "Hey, I want to start doing podcasts. Can I use your lounge?" And I was like, "As long as you're not saying anything too crazy, yeah, go for it."
Yeah, as long as you're not doing anything crazy, absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep
it PG, please.
Yeah, and if a lot of people don't realize too, it doesn't take a lot to set up a podcast. Like when we go to lounges, people ask us, your podcast, how big of a room do you need? I'm like, a couple
A
chairs
table.
and a
Yeah.
table. They're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have lights. I said the most I might have is microphones at some point to be able to, hook up onto the chairs or stand on the chairs or something like that. I said, but other than that, I said, it's just the 3 of us, a computer. I said, and I need an outlet.
Agreed. Yep.
They're like, that's it. I'm like, that's it. And a lot of
That's
times I
it.
go to these places and I've been in like rooms that nobody's allowed into. Like there's a few lounges. They're like, oh, you can have this back room. Nobody's allowed in here. Usually it's either a members only or like if you want to do business, you can use this room. They're like, but use this room, do your show. We have no problem giving it to you for the hour or two, whatever. You guys want to hang out there all day, by all means, that's your room for the day. Like there's been lounges that have given us carte blanche that have taken
That's
care
awesome.
of us. And those are lounges that I always go back to. I always promote because they do take care of us. Like I have lounges now that I filmed at that I'll go into just to shop, and they're like, "Oh, you're back." I'm like, "Yeah," or like lounge in Jersey. I go to one of them, and they're like, "Oh, you're back." I'm like, "Yeah," because they're like, "You haven't been here in a while." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, between work and the podcast and this and that, I'm like, I haven't had time to go to these places. Like I'm overdue for a trip to some of these lounges to at least show my face and say hello.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I haven't had time. I'm like, I work till 4:00 in the afternoon. And then I'm like, on a Friday, I don't want to drive out there unless there's a reason for me to be out there sometimes. Like
And what people don't see,
Mm-hmm.
what people don't see, Joey is working on this podcast pretty much 7 days a week. He's doing something for the show,
Especially
putting a
now.
vignette together, lining up the next host, emails. Like people don't realize when we call him the producer, there's a reason why we call him the producer, because it's a full-time job in itself just to put out our little podcast.
Yeah, and there are times, and I tell people, there are times I don't check my messages. I don't. And I said, that's not knocking anybody that's messaging me. I'm like, there's times I have to just physically put my phone down.
Correct. And just focus. Yep.
Like I'll post up, like I did a video right before we did this. I posted it of the unboxing of the stuff you had sent us. I'm like, oh, we're getting ready to film in like 20 minutes. Because I got it this morning, but I got it and then I went back to work. So I didn't have a chance to really, kind of look at it.
Well, I'm glad it got there quick.
Yeah, I didn't check the message after you had said, okay, I'll send them whatever. I didn't check and see that you sent the picture of the box. So I got a UPS notification. I'm like, what is this? I'm like,
it's like Christmas.
My dad's like, you don't know what that is? I'm like, no, because I didn't order anything because I don't expect them that fast. Because a lot of times it's either sent through the post office or it'll get sent out on like Monday, which I'm okay with. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, but then I got the thing and my sister's like, oh, I'm waiting on a package. It's coming UPS. I'm like, that's not this one. I'm like, because I don't get the notifications unless it's my name. So then my mom gets the package and she says Flamin' Leaf. I'm like,
who the hell is that?
I don't know. And then I cut the box open and I pull the plastic out and I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's who that is. I'm like, I was like, yeah, I'm like, they were coming on the show. I'm like, we were going to do a day for the interview. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I know who this is now because sometimes I've had companies just send me cigars. They're like, send me your address. I'm like, okay, or they have my address. Like Domain came on, Daniel and his team over there, and they did PCA and released a new cigar, the Connecticut, I forget what it was. It's a brand new release. And I'd gotten a UPS thing. And I'm like, who is that? And then it came and my dad's like, oh, this is who it is. I'm like, oh. I'm like, I didn't even expect that. Because again, if they have your address, a lot of times companies will just, here you go. They put you on a list and just send it all out. So I had no idea. And then when it showed up and I opened it, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that got here pretty quick. And then I go to check the notifications to tell you I got it. And I open the message. I'm like, probably been a good idea if I looked. I'm like, but again, it's one of those things like you texted me, I answered you back. We went through the DMs and set it up. And then I just I got busy with work. And then I sat my phone down.
Well, it's funny that morning I was like, all right, I'm going to get that guy some cigars. And then one of my partners texted me and he's like, hey, can you send some cigars to a friend of mine for his birthday and a care package? And I was like, yep. And then 2 orders came in. So I was like, all right, well, I got to go to the UPS anyway. So I'm just going to get everything sent out this morning and done.
Yeah. No, and sometimes that's the best.
I'll get random text from Joey. He's like, I got cigars here for you. I'm like, for what? And he's like, we got these people coming on the podcast. So they sent them here. I'm like, okay. Next time I see you, I'll get them. Whatever that is.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll tell him there's 3 of us. And then sometimes I'll be like, oh, like he works sometimes. So I'll be like, send me your address. And then he'll forget or whatever. And it'll come to me. And then I'm like, and then he'll hit me up and be like, yo, I got cigars from so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I got some here. He's like, oh, they want to come on the show. I'm like, yeah, I know. They're already booked for this date. He's like, oh, well, they sent me some too. I'm like, okay. I'm like, then we both have them. And there's been times where, like, he's had people hit him up and he's like, oh, I want to come on the show. He's like, hey, hit up these guys, get their address too, to send packages to both spots. And then somehow I wind up with all this damn cigars. And I'm like, how is this even possible? And I've told him, I'm like, you can send whatever to him. I'm like, I don't see him all the time. I'm like, every month or two.
Yeah, even though we're only like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Our work schedules, they just don't jive. We just can't make it work out.
I get it.
When they do, we try to make it happen to where we can at least, once a month or once every couple of months meet up and do a live show where the 3 of us are in person. And it's
well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me generate a discount code for you guys.
Okay.
I'll get that generated this evening or first thing in the morning. I'll shoot it to you, so pay attention to your DMs.
Yes, I will.
And then get me Dennis's address, and I'll get some stuff dropped in the mail for you this weekend.
Awesome.
And
Very cool.
I think I've got a nasty thunderstorm rolling in here in Florida. So if I lose power, my apologies.
Well, I mean,
we're probably winding down here anyway, so
here we can let you go. We appreciate it.
No, thank you. It was enjoyable. I really appreciate the conversation and giving me the chance to tell the story.
No, we appreciate you hitting us up to come on, and we're glad the algorithm is working to where we're popping up in your feeds. Like, I know, and I say this because, like, yesterday I posted a video of another company who had sent me cigars. They put me in like their influencer program or whatever. I said, okay. And, my dad hit him up. They did the same thing for him because I told him we have a podcast. There's 3 of us, whatever. And, like, I'm glad everything's working out now because I popped up, I guess, in El Septimo's feed.
Oh, nice.
Because El Septimo Germany commented on my video.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
So things are starting to work that didn't work before, which I'm glad they're doing. I'm glad they're starting to finally, we're hitting feeds, whether it's my posts or the podcast posts and stuff like that. So that just tells me that whatever I'm doing, posting videos every day or every
Consistency.
Consistency's
Yeah.
key, man.
So I have a.
It's something I'm not
you
good
should
at right
see-
now.
You should see my save folder on this computer. My downloads. I have shorts from like freaking December downloaded that I just haven't posted on other social medias. Like I created a TikTok page. That's the only platform I've ever paid for views, and I will say it. I've done it. I did it because I wanted to start it out and try to get that instant kind of gratification.
Yeah, get some momentum quick.
But it posted. Now I got to post more on there. I slacked off. I posted one reel or one short, whatever it is on fucking TikTok, and I haven't posted another one. So I got to try to gain consistency on that, and then Instagram's gaining the consistency. YouTube, I'm trying. YouTube is hard because it's cigar content. YouTube is hard.
Oh, they're tough, man.
Like we're at 168 followers right now. Like I know guys that didn't crack, 10.
Well, it's weird. It's weird though on YouTube because I get a lot of people that contact me and say they've watched the show on YouTube, but they don't subscribe and they don't follow. So, I mean, I know that number seems a little bit low, but I think more people watch it than we know because they're not following or subscribing.
What we were saying earlier about, the cigars and stuff like that, like with TPA, I did their first meeting they had and Dr. Oscar popped on. And again, I don't know who's paying attention because like you said, people might watch but don't say anything. He popped on the meeting and goes he was talking to Ish, he goes, before you finish, I just want to pop up and go, Mr. Turnbuckles, I see what you're doing and I like it. Keep doing what you're doing and I want to come on the show. Okay. Granted, he's a hard guy to nail down because he is so fucking busy with his brain, with his surgeries and his brand and everything else. It's hard to nail him down. I'm going to get him eventually. It's going to happen. He's going to come on the show. But it just shows you like people may not subscribe, but they're watching.
Yep.
They're seeing this.
Yep.
So the fact that people are starting to see our content now, a few years in, means that our Instagram has finally caught traction. It's caught traction.
Nate,
but now it's catching.
Nate, man, listen, we appreciate you so much for coming on. We appreciate your time. We know your time is valuable, just like everybody else's. So thank you so much. It was wonderful getting to know you. I love authentic people, and I'm just getting an authentic vibe from you. I can't say it enough, man. This was a fantastic podcast. Enjoyed having you on. Come back again.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'd love to.
if you can hang out at the end just for 2 minutes, I'll get you that information. That way you got it. And so to fill in Boss Dog's role here, on behalf of the Boss Dog, that's the Vanilla Gorilla. I'm the OG cigar tender, and this is Nate. And we appreciate you having on, and we'll hopefully see you again soon. Everybody, have a fantastic night. We'll see you next week.
Thank you all.
Peace.
OG's out.
Hi, I'm Beaker with Military Broadcast Radio TV. We're your virtual MWR, bringing veterans radio, podcasts, gaming, animation, 3D printing, and a community that never leaves you behind. Download our Roku or mobile app today.
Wisdom to share if you listen this week, so pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell.